are back with another episode of Hip Hop and Enterprise on Black Enterprise. And this week, I have the pleasure of speaking with the electric TV host, activist, T.S. Madison.
What's going on, baby? Electric. I love that term. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. It made me want to do woogie, 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 do. It made me want to let you slide right now when you say that.
I just love hearing you sing it because it's great. How are you? I mean, lit, but
I am lit, but I'm also stressed because I'm trying to put the last finishing touches on episode 3, and just getting that little stuff going on, and it's just kind of been like a rocky week because we had the Martin Luther King Day, threw us off, had to film. It was just a lot of stuff going on this week, and so it's like, girl,
but you're doing it. You're booked and busy for all the right reasons. Yes. And we're gonna get into your new show on Fox Soul, Turnt Out with T.S. Madison.
Yes.
But you are such a transparent public figure. And I wanted to ask you first, how would you, if there was one word you would use to describe your journey in Hollywood, what would you say?
One word to describe my journey: unorthodox. Yes. It's unorthodox. It has no, it's like, how did I get from here to here?
Right.
Ain't none traditional about it.
Yeah.
I didn't audition. I can't sing and dance.
I thought you could sing. You got a little tune there.
A little rasp. I do a little, but I can't sing and dance. Now, I ain't no Beyonce, but I stand back and I look and I say, now girl, how you cross the street and all them cars moving like this? How you got across the street over there?
Right.
And I always, I say this every interview, that my life has a divine purpose. Mm-hmm. And I realized that maybe in the last, I kind of knew, but it was like weird knowing, and you're like, but I knew within the last 5 to 8 years, like I've known, like, oh, right. Like, oh, and a lot of people say they have like this grand awakening, like, oh, I'm just woke now. No, girl, you don't have that grand awakening until you really understand your purpose. And it's like when you finally get it and you're like, oh, that's what it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. So being that that's my purpose, I can get beat up, hurt, killed, if some, all of this stuff. Like, so when you know these things, and then you go to a place of like, all right, well, then if that's what I gotta do.
But it's amazing. You've been a consistent, unapologetic advocate for the LGBTQ movement and
Black people.
And Black, yes.
And Black. And Black folks.
And where does your motivation come from?
Well, it comes from, me being a voiceless person. And when I got the opportunity for somebody to hear me, I'm going to say, listen up now. I've been trying to tell you all this stuff. Somebody been trying to now you listening at me. Okay, this is what's going on out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You believe that. This is what's going on out in this. Okay. And so now I have the opportunity, to reach a mass of people that, pay attention and that I can impress on, and I can move me being trans out of the way.
Right.
Like, I'm trans, but I can move that out of the way. Like, okay, that's good. But this is what's going on. And this is what's going on in the world. This is what's going on in the lives of people, know. And I just want you to see me as a human being. My whole press tour for this whole thing about what's going on with me and Turnt Out with T.S. Madison. I want you to have a human experience with me. I want you to have a human experience with every person that you come in contact with, and stop looking at people's sexual orientation or gender identities or whatever you're looking at, and just see the human. And
Yes.
how important it is for us to be human and human to each other. We need each other as human beings, period.
Yeah. And growing up in Miami, Florida, where would you say that you started to find your voice?
I really didn't find my voice until after I left Florida. I didn't find it. I was always popular in school, and people like to look at me because I would dance, like doing that other stuff, and I could always make someone laugh, always. But I didn't have anything to teach them when I was making them laugh. It was just me making them laugh. After I went through the turmoil that I went throughout the course of my from the age of 19 all the way to 26, 27, I had something to teach them after that. I could make them laugh, and now I had something to teach them because I've experienced. Right. And I didn't think that the earlier part of my life was an experience until I really started getting older after that, and looking back over that, it was like, yo, I used to think I was a real ass bitch when I was growing up, and I can tell a joke about this, but also teach people about, identity and how it differs from sexual orientation. Because even though at that time, I thought I was this pretty little thing, I wasn't even having sex. So I didn't really know what I was attracted to. So I had my identity here before I even had a sexual experience. And so, you have these conversations with people, and you tell them this, and then they can see it in a broader spectrum. Like, okay, I get it. Especially to a person that has a closed mind to, not want to understand. I tell them, yeah, I was pretty, girl. But I had never had anyone tell me that I was pretty, man or woman. Like, I felt I was pretty. And the first time a man told me that I was pretty, I was like, oh, that's what I want right there. You get it. I can tell this in a joking way.
Yeah.
And people would, understand it, like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. And you came out proud, just unapologetic. And in 2019, you were named one of the 100 most influential people by Out magazine. When that happened, what was the first thing you said to yourself?
Well, I said to myself, T.S. Madison, your responsibility is well, it's kind of like it was an affirmation for me, for my purpose. Like, these are your responsibilities, Madison, and I know that I can be a bit vulgar, and I can be a bit, over the top, but that's just that's what he gave me. And I have to take moments and talk to myself and say, now, how is this going to translate to a learning thing? Now I find myself making sure that someone can learn something from me each time that I do something publicly, like they can learn something from me. And it gets to a point where, yeah, I'm joking and I'm having a good time, whatever, and I used to didn't watch the joke, but I watch the joke now, because the joke and the lesson, has more of a lasting effect.
Right.
You see how you told me, girl, you may not remember me, but I met you, and I was like, oh my God, I remember the interview. And in that interview, I was very candid in that interview.
Yeah, but it really even, just spoke to me. I remember you were talking about, I'm not going to get into it, but like you were just mentioning your experience with a Puerto Rican man.
Oh, yeah.
So don't get into.
Girl, that Puerto Rican man changed my life. How y'all? Listen, God is good. I ain't gonna get into it, but he changed me.
Right. It just resonated with me as someone. I mean, I'm with a Puerto Rican man, but
you with one now?
Yeah, I'm engaged.
Changed your life, didn't it?
He did. My mother used to always tell me about my great uncle, her late uncle, and he he would dress in drag. I can't even exactly say what, how he identified himself, at that time. But she always would feel so sorry that he never really got a chance to really live in his truth in the 70s. And just knowing what you represent, it touches me every time.
Thank you, sister.
It's important.
It is important, and it's important that, and I want to say this because I know that you have a lot of Black eyes that are watching you. I want people that are watching this to understand that I am Black and trans at the same time. I ain't Black. I'm not trans then Black. I'm not Black then trans. I'm Black and trans at the same time. So when I'm windmilling and uppercutting and jabbing and bobbing and weaving, I'm doing this across the board.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Especially for Black women too, because contrary to popular belief, and no matter what they know, it's in these panties. I fall under the woman spectrum.
Yes.
And so I have to battle for Black women and I got to battle for Black men too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real out here. And when did you start to make the decision that you were ready and wanted to embark on a career in the entertainment industry?
Oh, honey, I knew from day one. Listen, let me tell you something. When I was able to make my family laugh at gatherings, like we would always have like little parties and stuff like that, and I would get we would have like a microphone, and I would get the microphone at the Christmas party. And I think I was 17, 16, all right, y'all, we're going to read these Christmas cards and I need to know who put money in the cards and who didn't. And I start reading the card and I open it up and if it was money and birthday money, I'm like, or Christmas money, I'm like, okay, well, this card is important. So let's read this one. And I would read it with I would enunciate things and then I would say, and throw a joke and then throw the card to the back, and it would be like the life that would be funny. And so I was like, yeah, I can command a room.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to command a room.
Right.
I used to command rooms when I was in high school. I would come in the room and it would just be like, damn the teacher. I would always get in trouble too. My mama was so tired of whooping me.
Can you just relax? But with your autobiography, A Light Through the Shade,
yes.
That title is so powerful. And, tell us about your inspiration going into that and how long it took you to write that book.
It took me a while. I pondered over it for a very long time, and then I got with a woman who told me that, she was writing, and she and I sat and she did an interview style because I didn't really know how I was going to approach the book. Mm-hmm. I wanted to approach it by just telling. And we just sat and talked for the hours and days and months and a year. And, she wrote it down and, I went back and revised things, through it. And so we were there together, and she learned a lot about my life. Mm-hmm. And she wrote these things down, and I told her everything. Like I told her, don't miss a minute. If I stuttered, put the stutter in there because I'm thinking about it. I'm recollecting. And it was the inspiration behind that came from Janet Mock, because Janet Mock had written a book, Redefining Realness. And I was like, this is not a trans woman. This girl is gorgeous. Not to say that trans women aren't gorgeous.
No, right.
This girl is gorgeous. Like this kid, no. And I started researching her, and I became a fan of hers because I thought she was such and she became an inspiration behind that because she had written this book and she had lived a stealth life working for People magazine. I think it was, she was working for People magazine. She hadn't told anyone that she was trans. And then one day, hey, and for me, it was different. Like I've been telling people I was trans from day one.
You're like, it's no hiding it.
I ain't got that time for that. You see, I like that Puerto Rican.
Listen, so now you have just, elevated your career after, making history on WeTV with the first show starring a transgender person.
And executive producing it.
Mm-hmm. And executive producing it now. Don't forget that fun fact. And you're on Fox Soul hosting Turnt Out with T.S. Madison. When I look at, the show, I'm just so inspired. For one, you're doing it different. The format, the format is just so innovative of how you structure your show, and even just how you tackle the topics. It's very engaging. And I wanted to know, like, going into it, was this like your vision?
Yes.
Did you work with it? It was all your vision. Okay.
Yes. It's always been a vision of mine because I've taken inspiration from In Living Color, Honey.
Yeah.
I grew up on In Living Color. Like that shaped a lot of my childhood, especially In Living Color could not exist today because they are girl, men on film, they would have been canceled today.
Yeah.
In today's world. So that definitely shaped me, seeing that. And it was so funny. Also Saturday Night Live, like, sketch shows and the way they jump through different things or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to ever be limited to the way that I engage with people. And, when I look at certain talk shows, certain stuff, I'm bored with this. They have this segment. I don't want to see y'all cook like that. Girl, I want to see y'all cook with the man with his shirt off, and let's talk about, things. You got my attention now. Now I want to scramble an egg, And then I like my car chats. Like, I like to meet people where they are, and I don't want to sit at a desk with everybody. Like, girl, let's go get something to eat.
Yes.
And talk. Like, I find the most times that you have deep conversation is when you riding down the street. Girl, you on a road trip, you find out everything was going on in life.
Yep.
You playing music, the music has set the tone. You over there talking about, yeah, remember this song, what's going on. And like, girl, child, I cheated on my husband with it. What?
Yes.
And this gets you in this space. Like, now you're talking, and now you get into the root of stuff in the car. And so I really enjoy my car chats because my mind is trying to navigate through traffic, but it's really, what's the tea?
Right. And how are you going about selecting the guests you have, the conversations you're tackling?
Well, I am selecting guests that I have in the first episode. I selected Cherry the Boom as my first guest on episode 1 because Cherry has had lots of, controversy with being a Black trans woman who has been painted out to hate Black women, Black cis women. And so it was important for me because I've had those labels placed on me too, because of some discrepancies that I've had with maybe one or two vocal women that we had bickering back and forth. And then they labeled me that because I was defending myself against these women. And so I totally got Cherry, but my show is hosted by a trans woman. And so I needed to address this with another trans person and also allow her on my platform to show herself in a different light instead of what people have seen her as. She gets the opportunity to tell her side. And I wanted to be her sister, making her feel comfortable. Like, girl, let's talk about it. Let's do it. And I really was so enthralled with Cherry's interview because I know Cherry and I love her. And I wanted her to say the things that she said because people needed to see that we are Black trans women. We love our Black sisters. We love Black women. We are painted in the image. What are you talking about? Like, we are painted in the image. So we gonna defend ourselves if somebody reading us to the ground. We're gonna read back, but it's not from a malicious place. I'm not envious. And I wanted her to tell how she identified herself as a trans woman and how I identified myself as a trans woman so that they can see that, yes, we're trans, but we're also different.
Right. So exciting.
I needed the people to see this in the first opening episode so that when they come back and they say, all right, well, she's trans and she really don't hate me. She love her sister, but I got a little issue with her sister, but I really kind of like her sister. Then I had the barbershop conversation where the men, we had to go and get these conversations from the men because I needed people to hear what men are really saying. I needed the cis women to hear what the men are saying, and I needed the trans women to hear what the men are saying. And I needed the people as a collective to see that these are conversations that are really going on. And not that they are really going on, but these are conversations that are impacting our culture, period.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of feedback from some of the girls. I won't never say y'all name, but some of the girls, and it was like, Madison, you should have orchestrated, or you should have had more control over that barbershop conversation. And I said, no, I'm not going to have control over the barbershop conversation. I needed to hear those men call us what they call us. Mm-hmm. You needed to hear those men talking amongst other men, calling us what they think we are, or how they feel. You needed to hear that. If they feel that you are a man dressed as a woman, you needed to hear this man say this out of his mouth, so that you can be aware that these are barbershop conversations, girl. And yes, we have told ourselves, and yes, we have told ourselves, and we believe, and we know that this is who we are, but this is the perception from another set of eyes, and you can't change another person's perception. Either you're going to deal with those people, or you're going to go another way. You don't have to deal with those people in the barbershop.
Right.
But this is the conversation
right
going on in the barbershop.
It's deep. It's deep. I mean, I want to know so much more. I'm already tuned in. I'm just really looking forward to where you're going to go, where you're going to take this.
Yes.
It's inspiring. I want to know, with all the history that you're making, the ground that you're breaking, do you take time to celebrate yourself?
I'm starting to do that now. I wasn't at first, because I was always like, okay, because I know how television is. Television is next job.
Right.
But I have to know that, and I said this in a previous interview, I have to know that my steps are ordered. Mm-hmm. And I'll always have a job in media, television, streaming, whatever, because I'm a messenger and a teacher and a comedian, and all the things wrapped up into all the things. And it is my purpose and duty to do what I'm going to do. So the job is going to come. I don't have to worry about that. And so I'm getting in a place now where I'm like, girl, relax. Girl, go out with your nigga.
Yes. I can't with you.
Come in, girl. Go relax. Y'all go have drinks. Get girl. Do all the things, girl, and have a good time and rest. And girl, worry about that shit on Monday.
Yeah, because it's not going nowhere. I had that moment yesterday too, because sometimes you'll have a moment where you're just like, oh, I'm tired, but it's like, change your perspective, like, just be like, oh, I'm just happy that I'm able to get this done. I have something to do that's paying my bills.
I can't do nothing. And then I can't do nothing about this. It's in God's hands.
That's right. What are the rest of your goals for 2022? Personal, professional?
The rest of my goals for 2022 is professional. I'm going to be the better version of myself than I was the year before. And people say that a lot, but I really go back and I critique myself like, ooh, I shouldn't have did that. Ooh, I can do this better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be a better version of myself in 2022. I'm also going to explore my personal life a little bit more.
Here we go. There's always more to explore and find out and learn. You're so pretty. I love it. You so just... Oh, I have to give the digital team a little like, hey, y'all, this is T.S. Madison.
Oh, tell them, honey, they better know. But I'm going to go out and I'm going to explore because I shut my personal life off for many years.
Yeah. So to fully explore that, I want that for you. You deserve that.
I feel that I didn't at one point. I think I thought I didn't, but I'm going to explore in my personal life now.
I'm so here for it. I'm so here for all of your success. As you can see, I can't say it enough in this interview. I really do love you. I love what you stand for. I love what you represent. And I just want God to keep covering you as you continue to shine your light.
Sister, thank you so much. That makes me feel so good. And I receive and absorb it. And I want the same for you, my Black sister. And I will say this, that I gotta go. I love that you said that to me, because there are people that impress on my life like that I want the best. Tabitha Brown. I love Tabitha Brown's spirit. I've never really met her in person. And I love Tabitha Brown's spirit. And I said to myself the other day, to God, I said, God, will you give her everything she asks you for? And bless her marriage, bless her kids, give her everything that she asks you for, because I love the way she makes me feel when I look at her, and she deserves it.
Yeah.
And we gotta normalize doing that, people.
Yes, speaking life over each other. Seriously, I was like talking to somebody, he's Nigerian, and he showed me a video of like just the women in their village, and he was telling me what they're saying to each other in the morning. They're saying like, God bless you, bless your whole family. Like, this is how they say hello to each other. And I'm like, damn, like, why don't we do that? Why don't we just speak life over each other? So from you to me to God's ears, we rooting for each other.
Yes, we rooting for each other, sister. And I love you. And thank you for interviewing me. Yes.
Thank you.